everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop. So park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the subscribe button down below. Also, if you check the link, you can click the Patreon account. You can become a Patreon supporter. All you got to do is click it, check it out. I'll review movies and music, whatever you need. Just hit me up and we'll talk about it. Now, with that being said, we are back at it again with another review. Now, today's review is going to include a movie that I've been really hyped to see. It's based off of the freaking hit zombie movie, Peninsula. Bam. That's going to be a thumbnail. Anyway, Peninsula is the sequel to Train to Busan. And I finally got my hands on this, and I was trying my hardest to watch it last year, but I just couldn't find a place to show it. There was a place in the area that was really showing it, but it was far away. Sorry about that. I kind of got distracted because anyway, Peninsula. Now, I'm introducing a new format to my channel, the way that I grade and critique movies. Movies are either going to be spared or they're going to get bodied today. And basically, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's going to be either good or it's going to be bad. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's either, if it's spared, that means go ahead and buy it, watch it at your disposal. If it gets bodied, it means that you could pass this shit. With that being said, let's talk about it. I'll give you guys my grade at the end. Peninsula is the sequel to Train to Busan. A quick synopsis of the film is that there is a group of people that escaped the island before, like during the zombie apocalypse or the zombie outbreak that they had. They got away, they go to Hong Kong, and they're trying to live a new life, but they're basically looked at as outsiders by the community, right? The place that they're living at, that they're seeking refugee in, they don't fuck with them. They don't like them, right? They look at them as like subhuman, below human, you know, whatever. So they get this offer where they're just like, yo, look, this city is abandoned. Everybody's dead over there. All you got to do is go over there and pick up this money that we've been trying to get out of there, and you guys can become rich. We'll split it with you evenly. All you got to do is just bring it home, you know? So they go on the mission to go find it. Not a bad idea, right? So during the mission, they run into some complications because there are some ravagers or some scavengers or people that are still living there. And, you know, like zombie apocalypse, they're just like, you know, zombie apocalyptic shows and movies. There's people living in the area, and there's some sort of conflict that rages between them, and it puts a damper on a situation of trying to get this money out of the city, right? Now, off top, I'm gonna tell you, this movie is not as good as the first one by far. Like, there's no freaking comparison at all. This movie lacks the emotion that the first one did. It lacks the world building, character development, all of that, right? It doesn't have any of the soul of Train to Busan whatsoever. The characters are not as interesting as the ones from Train to Busan. Now, there's nobody, and when I say this, I'm being serious. There's nobody in this movie that makes you actually give a fuck about them. Like, I honestly didn't care about none of the characters in this movie. In Train to Busan, I cared about the dude that had the wife that was pregnant, and I cared about the guy that had the daughter. I cared about the two old ladies. I cared about I even cared about the freaking high school kids. Everybody in this movie, Train to Busan, made you somewhat care about them. This movie, you don't really care about nobody. They try to get you in your feels. They try to make you care about these characters, but you just don't care about them. You don't mind if they live or they die, and that's a horrible way to do it. Also, another thing about this movie that killed me was the CGI. The CGI in this movie is so freaking trash, like garbage. I don't know how this movie doubled its budget, because the first movie was $8 million. This movie got $16 million to produce. I don't know how this movie doubled its budget and found a way to make it look worse. The CGI is terrible. It makes you feel like you're watching freaking midnight, like you're watching a Midnight Club demo being played on the PS3. It's bad. It's terrible. It's really, really not good, right? And just when you're watching this movie, even like, okay, even some of the zombie elements of the movie isn't that good. Train to Busan had, like, the zombies were just ravaging. Sometimes you watch these things with the zombies, and you could tell by the way that they're being, like, lifting themselves up, or some of their movements, that they're being pulled up with a string or some sort of harness. You could tell, and because it's like abnormal movements, and the abnormal movements, like, okay, in the first movie they had abnormal movements too, but it seemed like something that was plausible, right? This movie, you like I said, it's become so abnormal to the point where you're like, I know he got pulled up by a harness. Like the movement showed that he got pulled up by a harness. There's no way this man just floated up like that. Like it's impossible, right? And I know people are probably gonna be like, well, it's a fictional movie. It doesn't matter, right? The first movie didn't have bullshit elements like that. The story, the story, like the concept idea is fine. The concept idea is fine. What misses the point is the execution, right? You're trying to make me care about these characters. I don't care about them. You do a really bad job at making me feel, and I feel like I have allergies. You're doing a really bad job at making me feel for these characters, and that's just something that I'm not really. I wasn't too fond of. Now let me find out the name of one of the characters because this character was fucking stupid. Peninsula. Let me see if I can find this guy. Kim Min Jae. This fool was a sergeant. What was his name? This damn movie. Hold on, let me see. Let me find out his name. He was a sergeant in this damn movie, and he was annoying as hell. Like he was supposed to be Sergeant First Class Huang, right? He was supposed to be that menacing character, the one that's like the badass and shit like that. And he just didn't play the part, bro, like at all. Like his role and him trying to intimidate people and him trying to be the badass, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it at all. Like he was trying to be let me see. Train to Busan cast. He was trying to be old boy with the guy that had the daughter, Mam Dong Suk. He was trying to be him, the guy that plays in also the gangster, the cop, and the devil. He plays in a lot of Korean movies, but he was trying to be him, that badass, and it just didn't. It didn't fit with him. Like he's just some freaking Korean with a mullet. Like it was dumb. Like I didn't like it. So overall, oh my god! And don't even get me started on that freaking Hawaiian lady at the end of the movie. You okay? You okay? Like I don't know, dude. I couldn't do it. And so okay, look. When you're watching Train to Busan, you feel like it's going to be a happy ending in Train to Busan, but it's really not. You're hit with reality. These are the things that are probable and things are probably going to happen. This is what happens, right? So this movie tries to do it, but then just decides to try to go with a happy ending, and that, my friend, made everything not worth it. Because in war or in sort of conflict, there will be sacrifices. The minimum sacrifice that they had in this movie, to me, wasn't beneficial to make you feel, because the character that dies, you don't even care about because he's rarely even involved in the story whatsoever. So these characters, like, they tried too hard to give it a happy ending. You know, and Train to Busan wasn't about happy ending. It was about surviving. Almost every character that didn't matter, every character that you felt for in Train to Busan that you liked and you cared about it, you wanted to survive, a lot of them died. But in this movie, the characters that you're just like, okay, there has to be some sort of sacrifice in order to make this movie make sense. And it didn't. And then even the part where it was like the redemption arc, the part where he's supposed to redeem himself and sacrifice himself in order to basically save face. It didn't even happen like that. He just went, it was just horrible, dude. This movie was a horrible sequel. It didn't live up to the Train to Busan expectations. It doubled its budget and looked worse. I don't know how the fuck they did that. Now, with that being said, I got to give it my grade. And the grade I'm going to give it, this joint is getting bodied.
Get what you fucking deserve! I just caught me a mean body!
Yeah, you know what? Don't watch it. You don't have to watch it. If you're a Train to Busan advocate, you like it, go ahead and watch it. But at the same time, I would not recommend making a commitment in purchasing a physical copy. I would rent it for $3 or whatever the case may be and watch it. Or if you can find a black market way to watch it, go ahead and do that. But me personally, I was very upset by this movie because it wasn't as good as the original. And it sucks because the cast that we're introduced to at the beginning of the movie seemed like they were okay, but then they're quickly dispatched, and you don't even get to see them. So, and like I said, man, this movie does a really bad job at making you care about these characters. It doesn't provide you with a cast that makes you care. And in all honesty, this movie's whack and it deserves its bodied grade. So go ahead, hold this L, and I will see you guys are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Hope to see you guys next time. Don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Adios.